Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
Morning, fellas. Sorry I'm late.
Good morning. How are you?
So he did figure it out. See, he's all good.
Well, there was a lot of clicking, a lot of links. I was sitting in another place, and
Sorry.
No. Please don't apologize. We're good. We're here.
How are you?
I was laughing at Phil because I did that. I click, and I know, like, that's the worst part. I actually know we don't use Google Meet to do the I know that. So I'm sitting there thinking, why am I here? Like, we don't use Google Meet. I'm thinking, idiot, go back and read it. But that's me.
I did my best, but Google does what Google wants to do, right? So then it puts things where you don't want it, and then
I just do me, which is, I don't read.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like having a good deli sandwich, right? Is you don't want it, you probably shouldn't have it, but you're gonna have it anyway.
No, you should probably have two. That's right.
3. Let's go big or go home.
You realize that when you get there, you really should have had it. You should have been there earlier.
Whatever.
And you want to keep having it again and again. I know. That's what I feel about this podcast too. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Interesting segue, but that brings Zane Caplansky on, and we're excited. I'm excited to have you. You are a fixture in this community, and I think anyone who's ever had a smoked meat sandwich has definitely had a Caplansky. So, when you said you'd come on, I was very excited. I don't know if Kenny, you know Zane's brand, actually. I guess
I wish I did, because now
it's good. It's better this way.
But, now you said smoked meat. Now I'm hungry. Like, I haven't eaten yet. So
you're gonna be fucking hungry when you're done. Right?
That's good, because I'm already there. So now you're just making it worse.
Yeah. So listen, we've got Zane Caplansky on. I will let you introduce yourself, but I do know. I know the deli. I know without tipping my hand, so Kenny doesn't get any of this before you start telling your story. But I know a bit about you, and I know a lot more about your smoked meat and your sandwiches. So which my belly thanks you for. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut up and let you introduce yourself. The next kind of hour or so is yours, sir. We will let you go wherever you want to go. So you want to start at the beginning, you want to start in the middle, you want to start at the end and work back. You want to whatever you want to do.
Well, I need a history lesson here. Like I need a little context.
Yeah. All right, who is this guy and why is he on my show? That's what Kenny.
Well,
said.
Shit, I'm in Vancouver.
Why is Chang smiling like this?
Now, why is everybody all
how do
so
I
happy
get
and
my
excited?
hands on a sandwich right after this call? So,
well, I'm further west than you. I'm in Tofino this morning. And Phil gave me the license to start wherever I want. So,
yes.
In the moment, I moved to this town in 2019. My wife was born here. We were married in 2017. And in the end of that year, as honeymooners, we came here for the holidays and decided to close our restaurant in Toronto, Caplansky's Delicatessen, and move here. We wanted to start a family. I know, looking at me, maybe your listeners can't see it, but I've got. I used to say salt and pepper, but it's more salt and pepper. I'm of mature years. I was 53 when our son was born, and Archie is now 4. Spoiler alert! So we were successful starting a family, and the idea was, where do you want to do that, in Toronto or Tofino? And it was a pretty easy choice for anybody who's ever.
Sorry.
Right? What? Yeah, it's not. I've got nothing to apologize.
Keep the deli open. Zane, Toronto, keep the deli open. That's really
well. See, this I get it from both sides, Phil. So we still have the airport restaurant in Terminal 3, and anybody who flies in and out of Pearson can enjoy that experience. I love what we do in the airport. I think it's extraordinary and exceptional compared to anything else. It's really fantastic. I do miss having my restaurant on College Street, and for Kenny's benefit, I'll tell you that I had a 9-year run from starting what's regarded as, but probably technically isn't, Toronto's first pop-up restaurant. Okay. So we started in a dive bar in Little Italy on Clinton Street in downtown Toronto, a deli within a dive bar. So I started Caplansky's Deli in June of 2008, and I was doing house-cured, hand-sliced smoked meat sandwiches, hand-cut fries, hand-cut coleslaw, and homemade mustard. And then I just did one plate. That's it. I did a smoked meat sandwich with coleslaw, French fries, Stubbs pickle, and mustard, and it became it went crazy. Like from almost day one, it was a bizarre thing, to go upstairs in the side street dive bar and find a really good sandwich. It was a pretty new idea, a pop-up. And we did that for about a year. And then a group of customers who became investors wanted to help me get into my own restaurant so that I could do more than just one sandwich. And we started doing a full slate of deli favorite on the menu, kishka and knishes and latkas and all kinds of different sandwiches, Reubens and grilled salami and turkey and chopped liver, a full breakfast, full brunch. We were rated consistently as Toronto's best deli, one of Toronto's best brunches. I was incredibly proud of our French fries. We did a big catering program. And then the next thing, 2 years after we opened, I appeared on Dragon's Den for the first time. And I had this wackadoo idea to open a food truck, which I thought everybody knew what food trucks were by this point in 2011, but the Dragons didn't seem to get it. And they're like, Jim Treliving from Boston Pizza fame says, and I quote, "Who's going to want to buy food out of a truck?" And I'm like,
lots of people.
Of all of the answers I was prepared for.
And Jim's from out here, and he knew Portland at that time already had that block that's all food trucks.
Kenny, this is what I was betting on. I knew that food trucks were a thing, especially out west. That Portland block is world famous and fabulous. Exactly. Here in Vancouver, the Japa Dog guy was already successful.
He was already popular.
Yeah. And so I thought that the food truck vibe was well known, especially to a group of people who are very well traveled. I was not expecting. You ever see Big, the Tom Hanks movie Big?
Yeah.
That moment where William Hurt says, or Tom Hanks says to William Hurt, "I don't get it. I don't get it." I was expecting this on Dragon's Den. I don't get it. What do you mean? You don't get food trucks? What are you, stupid or something?
Shit, have you ever do you walk a city or you just go to fancy restaurants? Like they're all over the place.
So
it's street food.
Yeah. And then it was a publicity stunt, to be honest with you, because I had already bought the truck. We had the truck with us in the studio, and we rolled out the truck the following summer. It was wildly successful. They invited me back for a second episode, second chance for the Dragons to have another shot at me. My valuation went up, and we didn't do a deal the first time or the second time, but we got a lot of offers. They were definitely interested, and they even had me back a third time talking about franchising and the packaged goods line, the mustards and so on. That show really did gave me a huge boost. And I always recommend to any entrepreneurs, and this is very apropos of this show as well, apply to Dragon's Den. The exposure that you get for free on that show is gold. I don't know if it's still the case, but back then, 1.5 million Canadians would watch every episode. To be on 3 separate times, to be on 2 update shows, to be like the most recurring non-dragon character on the show was such a big deal for me and gave us such a huge boost. It also brought us to the attention, I believe, I don't know for sure, of the Food Network. And I started getting asked to be on You Gotta Eat Here and Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives and all kinds of other Restaurant Takeover, Top Chef Canada, guest roles and appearances and stuff. And it was so much fun. Like really a dream. As a restaurant owner, you watch those shows and you say, you visualize and fantasize about being on there with John Catucci, who could not be a nicer person. And Guy Fieri, same thing. On camera, off camera, the nicest people you ever want to meet, and nice. Incredibly generous. And what they did for my business is they took it even further beyond Dragon's Den. I then started getting judging roles on Food Network shows. I got my own radio show in Toronto. My catering business went crazy. The food trucks, the restaurant we opened on College Street. Everything was sort of pumping. Hardcore, so busy. I used to describe myself like living with my hair on fire. Like I was overwhelmingly busy. There was way too much on my plate. And then a small miracle happened. So maybe 2 small miracles. The first best one was that I met Willa Bradshaw, and Willa is now my wife, and she changed everything. And when we first started dating, Willa said to me, I never thought I was going to be able to spend this much time with you. Like I always thought as a restaurant owner, you were always going to be in the restaurant. And I said to her, until you came along, that was absolutely true. And I would say that I ruined a number of previous relationships by not putting those people first. That the restaurant always came first in my life until I met Willa, and Willa changed my life. And then a couple of years later, in 2016, the second miracle happened in my life when I was unlawfully locked out of my restaurant by a terrible landlord. And it was a gut punch and a public humiliation like I have never experienced in my life, and hopefully I never will again. It was so shocking and so hurtful. In the middle of the night on June 6th, and I know exactly the date because my rent is due on the 6th of the month, and the landlord deposited my rent check, cleared, of course. I was never late with my rent for 9 years. And then at midnight that night, he went and changed the locks. And I got a phone call from my alarm company. Sorry, one sec. I'm doing all the talking here. Do you guys have any questions?
No, don't worry. We'll get there. You keep going.
Listen, we're not scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Relax.
We slop you when we want. Go.
Okay. Sorry. I got a phone call from the alarm company at midnight, and I got this cold chill over my body. I live very close to the restaurant. I run over, and the alarms are going off. There's guys working on the doors and a sign on the door, and they're shouting at me, the guys working on the doors, you can't come in, you can't come in. Read the sign. And the sign says the landlord's taking back the space. Why? The reason on the sign, and it's burned into my brain, failure to effect repairs not approved by the landlord. I didn't make repairs that weren't approved by the landlord. It makes no sense. And even with everything that I know to be true, all of the actual history between us, I still can't tell you exactly what he would have told a judge or justice of the peace who would have allowed him to go and do what he did. But regardless, I was then required to hire lawyers to go before another judge on an emergency basis because I had $100,000 worth of meat in my fridge, and I had catering contracts and staff and so everything on my shoulders of this freight train of a restaurant, which by this point was 4 restaurants. 2 at the airport. We had a franchise in Yorkville. We had the College Street location, a catering business, and a food truck business as well. And the judge let me back into the space immediately. So I was only out of the space for 3 days. And then that judge appointed himself as the arbiter of our relationship, mine with the landlords. And this was, as I say, June 6th when it started. That summer was hellish for me. Just the stress that I was under was extraordinary.
Yep.
And we got back in and we made a settlement with the landlord, and we were back on our feet, and things were going again. We're going in the right direction. 2017, I was cast on a US TV show called Guy's Big Project. And this was like another miracle in my life, like to get an opportunity to be on an apprentice style show where one person gets sent home every week to travel across the United States with Guy Fieri as the mentor. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And the end of the show, I was a finalist, but didn't win. There was 3 finalists, and I was the only one who didn't win, but I had the best time. A week after the show wrapped, Willa and I were married here in Tofino. We went on honeymoon to Newfoundland and Chicago. And when we came back, there was another lawyer's letter and another package from my landlord and another notice of default, essentially. And, at that stage, because of all the legal challenges and dramas, it had cost me $100,000 in legal fees to get back into the restaurants, to settle with the landlord, to deal with all this stuff. They really, lawyers really take advantage of somebody who's in a desperate situation like I was, and I was badly taken advantage of. And we won, kind of. It was a Pyrrhic victory, as they say. But by that point, the honeymoon, I was financially exhausted, emotionally exhausted. And I said, you know what? I think I'm done. If he wants the space back that bad, this is never going to stop. How, if the last
you're always looking over your shoulder, right?
That's right.
What precipitates all this shit?
So if you want to go into there were incidents. I can tell you there's a couple of different things. One, I had a very, very successful restaurant. I'm talking like lineups for years. And Willa, my darling wife, says, I bet you his poker buddies said to him, what's that guy paying? He better be paying a lot in rent because he's sure doing great things with your business there, with your building there. And so I think my landlord wanted me to pay more money. So there was, I think that was his obvious end. And there was an incident, and I'll tell you very quickly what happened. I rented the main floor of a 3-story building. There were tenants above me. The hot water tanks of the tenants were in the basement of my restaurant. The landlord notifies me that on a particular day, the Enbridge, the company who owns those tanks, going to come in and switch out the tanks because they're old. No problem. The guys are there. They're doing their work. They have those acetylene torches, those blow torches. Accidentally, when they were taking off or putting on a tank, the heat from the acetylene torch sets off my fire extinguishers, my fire alarms. The heads burst. The alarms go off. I have to shut down the restaurant. I have to turn off the water, otherwise it's flooding. We have all of this on videotape. And this wasn't my fault. These guys are bonded. Their insurance would cover these damages. So I called the landlord, Walter, and I tell him what's going on. He says, well, call your fire extinguisher company and get them to fix it, which I did. They then sent me a bill, the fire extinguisher company, for $2,000, $3,000 something. And I sent it to Walter, figuring he had the relationship with the hot water tank, with the Enbridge.
Let's get them to pay that.
Yeah. he sends it back to me. And he says, no, this is in your name. You have to pay it. So I said, no, it's not.
No.
This is not. This is for you. And so I hired a lawyer, and she was going back and forth with him and his attorneys. Walter also sent me a bill for $80,000 to fix the roof of his building, which he said I broke because my hood fan motor is on the roof of the building for the exhaust. It was bullshit. And my relationship with him really went downhill after the first time we renewed my lease, and it just got worse and worse over time. That evening that I went to the restaurant to see these guys changing the locks on my restaurant, my first call was to that lawyer. And I think her name was Mary. And I called her, and the first words out of her mouth, I can't believe he did it. Landlords don't change the locks on people except for one reason, which is lack of rent payment.
100%.
This whole episode.
And usually 3 months in, not the day after.
The day of. The day of.
That doesn't work that way.
Midnight on June 6th.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way.
It was insane. And at the same time, I have to tell you, I mean, I don't know. I have a beautiful mountain view. I get to live in Tofino. I have a beautiful son, a beautiful wife, a beautiful life. And if Walter hadn't given me a way out, I had a 20-year lease, 5, 5, 5, and 5. I had a successful restaurant. I would be stuck in that situation for 15, 14 more
Zach,
years or whatever.
It's not about Zane. It's not about you. It's about me and my belly. Because now,
you know what?
I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
No, Phil. I absolutely. Last November, December, I did the one-of-a-kind gift show at the Intercare Center for the very first time, selling our mustards. The number of times that I heard from people, oh, it's Caplansky's. I love Caplansky's. We miss you guys so much. Do you have any smoked meat sandwiches here? I liken it to being at your own funeral. Yeah. You get a chance to hear how much people love you.
It's kind of nice, though.
It's so nice. I was actually at two of my former staff members, one of whom who's now relocated to Victoria. Hello, Maddie, if you're listening. And Elaine, who was like our lead server on the floor. It was so incredibly uplifting emotionally and financially. Toronto loves our mustard. And it was an incredible experience. And so it's not lost on me, Phil. I really feel so much love from people for what we still do at the airport and did on College Street. But at the same time, if you've ever been in the restaurant business, it's soul crushing. I couldn't figure out how to do it in a way until Willa came along. I worked 6.5 days a week in the restaurant. And for those playing along at home, that's 7 days a week. There was no rest for me. I had
But it's not 7 normal days. Like you're not talking about 7.5 hours. Like
plus you're not a millionaire at that point
close,
either. Like
the full shift, like,
fucking staff
I just want to say the one thing. So Kenny, like if you look at 365 College is,
you know what, you guys, I think I'd gone to it because we used to go to Toronto that time for a lot of drugs.
Like Little Italy,
and I would go to Little Italy, and I would go to Kensington Market.
And then
I loved it down
right
there.
on the corner. It's on this beautiful red building. Like it's just we loved it there. So thank you, because during my kind of uni days, that was an easy trek. I was at U of T. So you weren't far away, and then I knew I could get there and get just a wicked sandwich that, quite honestly, I could eat half for lunch and half for dinner. And and then if I was nice to the server, I might get some extra pickles, and then I could actually have some pickles for lunch and pickles for dinner, and then I was great, right? Like it was awesome, super square. So
I treasure all of the memories. And also other people's memories. That was the other thing, Phil, was I love hearing this. And I loved it at the Intercare Center. People would tell us these stories of how my staff found their cat. This one guy comes over and he says, it was the winter of 2014, and I was suffering from the worst cold fever imaginable. And my wife brought me back a bowl of your matzo ball soup.
Yes.
And it was like a miracle cure. Yeah. And he said, we still talk about it to this day. And I need you to know you did incredible. It's so nice to feel. In Yiddish, you say you're kvelling. You're just overwhelmed with pride and joy. And I really, it's one of those hard things in life that it's tough to let go sometimes of certain things and places. And so when my father, who's passed, used to say, the nice thing about banging your head against the wall is that it feels so good when you stop. And that's the way the restaurant business felt to me. Was when I came out here. I mean, Tofino and Toronto couldn't. They both start with a T and they end with a
that's as far as that goes.
And that's it.
That's it. And even that, one's a big T, one's a little T. Like it's not even
the lake. I don't understand what the problem is.
Right on.
I love Toronto. I absolutely love Toronto, and I know that your sentiment, Phil, is not lost. That there's a lot of people who really miss what we did, and also, from a cultural perspective as well. Like there was a very strong sense of Jewish pride in opening up our culture to anybody who wanted to experience it. That anybody could feel a sense of ownership and belonging. And I once had a banner in front of the restaurant that said, "Not a Jew, you're welcome to," and we had a Passover Seder, a public Seder, inviting anybody who wanted to come in to see what it's all about. And I really, it gave me a tremendous amount of pride to show people the best parts of our culture and our city too. But when I moved out here and I wanted to figure out what my way forward was going to be, every time owning a restaurant is a bit like an addiction. It's a bit like a mental illness. And every time I would say to my wife, we could open a deli in the whatever space was available here in town. And she would say to me, think that through.
Think that through. Like you're not thinking. That's romance.
Okay. Visualize you're alone because I'm not there with you.
Visualize that 7 days a week you're there cutting meat. Are you still feeling it?
And the dishwasher doesn't show up, and guess who's washing dishes? And the server, the credit card machine breaks down,
and the power goes out, and the fridges go down. Because the power outages on the coast of there are not uncommon.
Constant.
Deal with that shit.
So let's shift a little, because you get out of there, and then do you keep Terminal 3?
Terminal 3 is a franchise, and so it's operated by another company.
Okay.
We had a very unique agreement with them as far as they had to use our proprietary products, and we had and have absolute say over the menu. And we don't operate it on a day-to-day basis. They have their own fantastic team.
Yeah.
But it is absolute. In fact, all of my investors who I talked about at the beginning were very skeptical of opening a franchise in the airport. They said, it could ruin the brand. And as a group, on our first day open, they all came down, they sat around a big table, and they ordered everything dish on the menu.
As they should.
And to a man and woman, they shook my hand on the way out. And they said, "You did it. It's perfect."
The fries still taste like your fries.
Yeah.
The fries still taste like your fries. Like when I'm
so
there,
why aren't we doing more of these?
Yeah.
Like if you franchise, you're not buried 7 days a week, as long as you get good franchisees.
Yeah, right? It's a great model. For sure it is. And I know that the company who's franchised it had pitched other airports, and I have the capability of selling franchises. The problem is, or the challenge, there's a few challenges. One, I got really lucky. The company that I work with at the airport is phenomenal. They're a great partner. They used to be called HMS Host. They're now called Avulta. They were bought by another company. Mm-hmm. But the group of people in particular, from Sharon Rice, the GM, on down to everybody who works in the restaurant, are top notch. And I've never received so many incredible random messages from people shouting out to our incredible staff, the food, the service, everything. So that doesn't always happen. And so if it happened otherwise, I would be troubleshooting. I would be, diagnosing. And the truth is, Kenny, I did try. I went to a number of different franchise trade shows and tried to sell franchises to other people. And the truth is, that year, 2016, I got lineups at my booth, everybody wanting to have a sandwich for reasons Phil understands. And each person said the same thing. What happened with your landlord? Why couldn't you pay your rent? What the landlord did kneecapped my ability to sell franchises.
Yeah.
It may not have lasted
it never lasts that long.
That.
No, but the immediate impact is
definitely. The immediate impact is definitively there, but I'm thinking now, like it's 2026. 100%. I'm not going to push into restaurants again, but I'm thinking it's 2026. Like,
listen, if his wife shows up, it's all your problem now.
I'm not going to. Whatever the wife says, I'm going to go with anyway. So you know that.
Mrs. Caplansky,
I will bury him fast.
I just wanted on the record that Phil said, I love it. I reminisce about the sandwiches, but he looks very happy where he is. And I don't want it. Penny is the one pushing him towards the restaurant.
He will live to be a very old age, Phil.
I think you could do a franchise thing.
So part of it is I only have 24 hours in my day.
Yep.
And the immediate decision that Willa and I made after closing the restaurant in 2018 was to revive our mustard brand. We had created this mustard from the earliest days in the restaurant, had sold this mustard in our restaurant and to a few hundred stores around Canada.
Yeah.
And I had shut it down in 2016. And the reason why I shut it down was consumer packaged goods, CPG, is an outlier in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Restaurants, catering, food trucks, franchise, wholesale, these are very consistent with restaurant life. And I self-identified as a deli man. And the mustard business was an outlier. It did well, but it was an outlier. And I never really paid attention to it. I never really supported it. I always had a sense of guilt around that. There was an opportunity, but I just never did it. And so, as I said, we shut it down. In 2018, in the aftermath of closing the restaurant, which, by the way, I don't mind telling you, I went into a very deep, dark depression for at least 6 months and probably a year, that I was so distraught after losing the restaurant. Even though I closed it on my own, my investors, to their credit, had offered me a lifeline to continue to fund the operation. But I thought we were throwing good money after bad, that this landlord was just going to keep this going, and it was going to just be a sinkhole for money and also my own stress and pain. And it took me a number of years to realize what a gift that the landlord gave me in allowing me to be able to move on with my life, physically move here, and also, be a dad to my son, which is my greatest joy. And so when we moved here in that depression and so on, I was trying to find my way out of it. I thought, I wonder if we could just take a step back and rethink the mustard business, that maybe there's a way of doing this that would meet my lifestyle goals, and manage the business from here, produce the mustard elsewhere, sell it all over North America. And that was my dream. And I'm blessed that not only is she a great person and a great mom, but Willa is also a brilliant designer, and she has incredible technical skills. So she does all of our website, all of our graphic design, all of our creative. And she's also, I'll tell you this too, Kenny, she's also very wise. And Willa says things to me like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something.
She's right.
Yeah. And
she's right. 100%.
It does absolutely occur to me that there is an opportunity,
Right.
based on what I saw in November and December, based on what I've seen, Phil's comments today. Our brand is strong. People love the memories that they have of Caplansky's Deli, and I get a lot less stress, and I would say just about as much joy in the demoing our mustard. In fact, I'm doing a demo later today here at Tofino at the Co-op grocery store, and I love watching people's faces as they taste our mustard. It's not the same as smoked meat, although I will be in Vancouver doing the Fikov golf tournament on June 18th. I'm not sure if this episode will air before then, but I will be. I don't know if you've ever been to Salt Spring Island, Kenny, but Buzzy's Deli. Have you ever been to Buzzy's?
Honestly, I've been in Vancouver 40 some years, and I've never been to Salt Spring.
I've been to Salt Spring. I know. Last
Is
year,
it great?
And I know the deli.
Yeah.
You know Buzzy's, yeah?
I do.
So Howard Busgang.
He's good. He's good, but.
Well, you know what? I love what he does. I love who he is. And so I needed to make 20 pounds of smoked meat, and it would literally take up my entire fridge and, be a bit of or I could call my friend Buzzy.
It would probably make Willa go, what the
hell? and it's kind of pretty, we get as a family, we're going to Salt Spring to pick up the smoked meat from Buzzy. We'll take it across on the ferry. We'll slice the little cocktail sandwiches for the guys at the golf tournament.
Oh my God.
And I've seen
this is at Fikov? Kenny, did you sign up for Fikov?
I don't go to the golf
tournament.
Going?
Come on.
No, I never.
So we'll be there.
I go to the lunches. If you ever come, you should come in for one of the lunches. Then we can sit together. It'd be nice to meet you person to person.
I would be very happy to.
And I still think, just so we're very clear, as a selfless act, I think we should be talking franchises in the Lower Mainland. Just not for you. Like, this is not about you, but the rest of us.
No, he can't have it.
I hear you.
He can't have it. No,
I'm just saying. It's just so you know what. Listen. Up above, he looks down and says, "You know what?
They have everything else. The West Coast has mountains. They got oceans.
Man, I just know he looks and he says, "Hey, that's a nice move. What a nice person."
I'm considering asking you not even to move the mustard out there because I can see the map.
Don't listen to him.
The West Coast guys, they get everything else.
Don't listen to
ours. So no,
you're a West Coaster now. Hey,
I am a proud West Coaster now, and it's the mustard business is a much better business than the restaurant business ever.
I'm so funny. You know what? Let me interrupt you. You know what's funny is you get a guy. First off, I don't know anybody that's food service. Like, in all honesty, I think of all industries that are just massively abusive, mentally, physically, for your time, energy. Like, honestly, God bless you people who do it, because we all love going to restaurants and but holy shit, what an industry. It's hilarious that CPG is the savior of that mess. Because CPG is another nightmare.
It is.
It's brutal. And yet you're happy about it, which makes me laugh, because I'm thinking, most people by this couple years into CPG think, this is the stupidest thing I've ever done.
The next time I reinvent myself, plumber. I'm going to be a plumber.
That's what you got to do.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding.
In that world, you can do that one much better.
Oh, I've only ever met happy rich plumbers. It's exactly what you guys.
Yeah, you rarely meet happy rich restaurateurs. Seriously, it's a bitch of an industry. But
it's terrible.
You choose CPG, and I'm thinking, buddy, you didn't move that far from the farm. Like, it's not any better.
Life doesn't have to be so hard.
Let's talk mustard, right? Because I think that's a good one. Like, we do have retailers that listen to this, and we got retailers. So you're selling the mustard now, and then I can see it on your site, right? So you've got a ton of places in Toronto. I get it from Summerhill. Love it, right? It's a staple in our fridge.
Awesome, thank you.
And I love mustards.
Yeah, you're right beside the Asian hot mustard that I got. So the
nice
1, 2 in there. But so you're doing this, and so you're selling this now. And it looks like you're getting, kind of specialty retailers on. Where do you want this to go? Like, where?
Well, the most exciting thing for us is that we've just onboarded. We've just fulfilled our first purchase order with an incredible national distributor called Star Marketing.
Yeah, we know the boys.
You know, Star. We like
They're
Star.
great guys.
Yeah.
It's been an aspiration of mine to work with them since we started. And
Don't
first
tell
of all,
Kyle that.
what's that?
Don't tell Kyle that. That makes Kyle
like this. Don't do that.
We know he listens to this. This makes his head much bigger.
Yeah. They need to work harder.
Anyway.
Like go down that.
I mean, Zane is sort of happy with you, Kyle. Sort of.
You could be doing more.
Well, so it remains to be seen. We haven't seen the results yet. I mean,
let's go. Pitter patter.
Attaboy.
The potential they have.
Yeah, whatever. What's potential worth? I want to see some results.
I want to see results too. I want to see great national coverage from Star Marketing. I think actually one of their sales reps came to the show, the One of a Kind show in November, and she left her card. I had stepped away, and that's kind of where the conversation started. And then I saw Kyle at the a trade show in San Diego in January, and then we consummated the relationship, and we're in business together. And I couldn't be happier to have them representing us. We've done better in the U.S. Than we have in Canada, which is so strange to me.
It's weird.
I always thought that our brand recognition and our brand value would have really propelled us to much faster success in Canada. And for reasons that I can't possibly or accurately explain or describe, it's taken longer. Whereas
maybe we just have more. We have a lot wider selection of really good mustards. Maybe.
I don't think. I mean, the U.S. has 10 times more of everything than Canada.
They do. That doesn't necessarily mean 10 times better, though.
Not necessarily better, for sure. And you know, I don't speak badly of anybody else's mustard. And for me, exactly as Phil said, anybody who loves mustard has more than one brand in their fridge.
Yeah,
always.
How many Deli brands of mustard are there?
Probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
One that I can think of.
Yeah.
Mine. And you know, as a delicatessen, even if you've never heard of us, and lots of people, you know, Kenny never heard of me at the beginning of the show. Fine. I think we're kind of friendly now, and when we get together, I'm sure we can be fast friends. But
I hope so.
Even if you've never heard of or seen anything to do with Caplansky's Deli, the fact that it's a deli brand, the fact that it's an actual person. I was crossing the border once, and the guy was very skeptical because I was going to a trade show in the States, and he says, "You're not actually selling; you're selling for your distributor." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Then what do you do?" I said, "Well, I just I meet people, I introduce the brand." I said, "You know what? I'm kind of like the Chef Boyardee of the mustard business." Think of me as Colonel Sanders, but mustard. So yeah. That. But, you know, as a deli brand, it resonates with people. And people, who doesn't love a great sandwich? And how to make a great sandwich better? Better condiments. Exactly. Burgers. 100%. You know, it's a natural. There's so many burger shops these days. And how do you stand out with your customers? Put a better condiment on offer.
Yeah.
Put something.
Well, every great one has a special sauce, if you will, right?
They should absolutely. And so this is a way to stand out. And in the restaurant business, the average profit margin is like 3%, plus or minus a few, if that. And that's average. That's all the negative profit margins of all the places that are going to go out of business.
Yeah.
And all the mega successful franchises, because franchising is much more successful than independent restaurants. In CPG, Kenny, you're 100% right. It's a tough business.
It's a grind,
but the margins are better.
Yeah.
And when you have a great product and a great story and a great place to fill on the shelf, the mustard category itself is dead boring. What's the last mustard that did anything interesting or different on the shelf? Grey Poupon.
I was just going to say, it's actually the only other.
Remember? Those
like the Asian mustard that we buy, I don't actually know what it's called even. I just know where to find it. So it's in our fridge and those two. But then like I was going to say with the US even, most of them I think are honey mustards. Like they're sweet mustards.
Yeah.
So they don't have that kind of edge to it that I think
you need a bite in a mustard.
has.
Like I used to like, the only thing that I ever had that was sort of quasi deli, like sort of with Kozlik's was pretty popular out here, which
Kozlik's is great.
Which is a nice, to me, I find is a nice mustard. Plus, it was Canadian. Plus, it was small. You know, all the things that I like. The plus. I don't need to be. I don't not. Heinz
the only
will do
two that
fine
come to my
me.
brain is Mile, I think is what it's called. MAI.
Mile,
yeah, Mile and Grey Poupon. Those are the only two I know.
And
both are okay. They're fine.
I like the more. I like this side. I like the artisanal.
Yeah.
So let me ask you. Let's pick on the boys for just a second.
Yeah.
Not for anything, right? But I look at the Lower Mainland map. And I see Columbus Meats, whom I love, right? Italian butchery down in Nanaimo, not for me. The family's awesome, been in the city for a long time. And I'm looking at all these nice little butcheries, love your positioning. What do you think? Oh, we're Star Marketing and where's Georgia, Maine?
Kyle.
Where's Troy? What's going on in the kitchen? Listen, we just gave him a big plug, but I don't see no distribution. So something, listen.
So I'll tell you something interesting, Kenny. And they literally have just gotten the product into the warehouse. So
how long?
Like this week, literally this week.
Okay, you know what?
I'm meeting with
their too slow. Don't cut them slack. Do not cut them slack.
Right now, Kyle's going, you
fuckers. Forget it, man. I'm giving them nothing on this one.
I haven't even presented for their salespeople yet. So
I don't care. They should do better.
And Columbus is a very good example.
I love Columbus
because we had our mustards in Columbus for years.
Yeah.
What happens is, and Windsor, and we're in.
I'm looking. I see the butchers here. Beefway is just up the street from me.
Yeah.
I live in that part of town. Like Beefway is literally up the street. Columbus, that's our butchery. That's who we go to, and they've expanded like crazy. And now have a much nicer condiment set, etc. So I'm thrilled. So I'm buying you today.
Amazing. It's Vancouver has an incredible food scene. We actually chose butcher shops as the way in the marketplace.
It's brilliant.
Thanks.
Butcher shops, cheesemongers, delis.
You know, it actually started with Pete's Meat in Kitsilano.
Yeah, that makes sense, though.
No, actually, this is funny. You'll like this, Kenny. You know who Gerald Tritt is? So Jerry Tritt owns Vera's Burger Shack.
Oh, I know Vera's.
Yeah. So Jerry and I go for a bike ride one day, and we're on. We're going to the beach and so on. As we're talking, he says, you should be in Pete's Meat. It's a natural store for you to be in. I get back to the hotel after leaving him, and there's a DM on Instagram from Pete Jenny from Pete's Meat.
How cool is that, right?
I want to have your mustards in my store.
Yeah.
I text Jerry to say, thank you so much. He says, I didn't do that. What a weird coincidence.
Come on, that's pretty cool. That's serendipitous. Like there's stars are all lining.
That's very cool.
In Yiddish, we would say it's beshert. It's meant to be.
Yeah.
And it's fated. And so Kenny was actually the first butcher shop. Awesome, and he, the volume that he would sell of our mustards, we did a demo at his store, and it was incredible. And that was he was one of the reasons why we started to say, you know what? People who shop in butcher shops care about quality,
100%.
Care about relationship,
100%. That's why we go.
That's right.
Listen, especially the price of meat. We spend so much on meat. When you go to your butcher shop that you like, because you're in Windsor, you're like at all right places. You could be in so many more of those guys for sure.
Yeah.
But there's so many opportunities because if I go, I'm dropping. I don't go to Columbus and spend $50. $50 is just the sausages.
Yeah.
On a day where I don't need to load up, it's $200-300. What do I care at that point of another add-ons? I like doing the add-ons.
100%.
I'm hungry. I'm already cooking in my head.
Yeah, I get you.
Let's go.
We don't understand.
I'm not cutting Kyle or Johnny. No slack. Zero.
Good.
Zero slack.
Now he's like, you fucking
put the pressure on.
Been in the warehouse for a week. Get your shit together. Let's go. Stop fiddle farting around.
Well, and I think, and it brings me so much joy too. I really love seeing the product on shelves. I love hearing from customers, restaurants as well. I want to see more and more restaurants separating themselves by using a better condiment, by showing their customers, we got the good stuff.
I love it. I think this is awesome, man. You are in a lot of nice stores, even on the island.
Actually, Phil, Rodney's Oyster House?
Yeah.
So Rodney unfortunately passed away last year, and he was one of my mentors in the industry.
Yeah.
And I love telling this story because the first year I'd opened my restaurant, one of my investors, Richard Cooper, had his annual birthday party at Rodney's Oyster House. And of course I went because I love his food and I like Richard a lot. And Rodney happened to be standing there. And I went over to Rodney and I said, Rodney, my name is Zane Caplansky. I've opened a restaurant. It's a deli. I am such a fan of yours. Can you give me some advice? Anything you can tell me to help me in my journey. He says, I've heard of you. I haven't been yet. I've heard good things. I promise you I'll go. And he said, I'm really honored you'd come over and ask because when I started my restaurant, before I started the restaurant, I used to drive back and forth to PEI, pick up my oysters, and I'd always go through Montreal and I'd always go to Ben's Deli. That was my place.
Yep.
One day Ben was there and he said, I did to Ben what you just did to me. And so I'm going to tell you the advice that Ben gave me because he said it's the best. He says it's like this. My father paid an extra nickel for the good beef. That's it. He said the message is clear. Quality. You're always going to have a choice between the good stuff and the very good stuff, and your customers can taste it. Yeah. Always choose the very good stuff. Charge a little more if you have to. Whatever. And this is, it was such good advice, and he was such a mensch to be able to share that and pass along that knowledge to me. And I love what I do now because mustard is never the star of the show. Mustard is a condiment. Mustard is, a part of the team. But if I can help that sandwich, if I can help that burger, if I can help that operator tell a better story, give a better bite.
Yep. Right.
I've done my job.
I like 100%. I like it.
And mustard is one of those condiments that can elevate the game.
100%.
It can change things.
100%.
It changes things in whether it's basting or within a rub.
Yeah.
Mustard is one of those.
Listen,
I love mustard.
I think sauces is a category that, it's funny, right? Because we joke about this all the time is, the number of sauce makers that we meet, right? So many. But sauces is one of those categories that people get crazy about for real, right? Is that when you are, when you're in it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as big as my fridge is. I might have that many sauces in my fridge and I couldn't give a shit, right? Because every single one of them has a space in my heart that I love, right? So to me, I buy into that is I think when you've got this, for me, it does your mustard is in there and then we will use it side by side with everything else because we love it, right? And there's a reason for that, right? I think this is great. What's
interesting for me though, Phil, I really appreciate that. Is that a lot of sauces, and I see these guys at trade shows, often the challenge that other sauces have is that they have to explain to customers how you use it.
Right.
Mustard, everyone knows what to do with mustard.
No brainer.
Kenny's right though. When it comes to marinades and so giving people new ideas, 100%. That's where I can really be helpful
100%.
As putting my chef hat on and show people not just a here on a sandwich, but you'd
in a glaze.
Put it in that container with some chicken. Marinate your chicken in mustard.
Everything.
There's a million different recipes that you can make your salmon, your beef, your lamb. Anything tastes better. And it's really unlimited, only limited by your own imagination.
100%.
I love the fact that it's mustard. Who doesn't know what to do with mustard? It's dead simple.
Yeah.
But being able to really disrupt the industry, to shake it up, because when Grey Poupon came along in the 1980s, they sold a 5% market share, and that's worth billions of dollars. And I really have loved seeing our business grow from me and Willa, working really hard to go store by store across Canada, to now working with Star Marketing as a national distributor, as well as having some great exposure in the United States as well. and it's a very fulfilling life. And from where I sit here in Tofino to be able to reach people across North America, I love this business. I love this brand. I love being able to personify what we do for people.
No, I think it's all. I think it's all cool. And I'll tell you, in all honesty, now we have found that if you're going to pick a category in CPG, like to me, the problem with sauces, no offense to all my sauce friends, is I have very limited loyalty to a brand. Like really and truly, I'll flip flop all over the place because you're always trying. Mustard is one of those goofy ones that if you like it, you kind of, you know what I mean? Like there's certain, there's certain pastas I only buy. There's certain mustard I will only buy. Like there are pockets in the fridge where I'm not testing the planet. I don't really care. I'm in for life. Unless you screw something up, I'm there, man. I'm not going anywhere.
This mustard isn't a trend.
No,
it's a staple, high protein, gluten free.
Keto this, keto that, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Mustard has been here. Mustard was mentioned in the Bible. Mustard is biblical. Mustard is every country in the world has its own mustard tradition in a very different way. In Italy, mostarda is a very different thing than the yellow prepared mustard that we think of.
Well, not the French shit.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you know what? But it's found in every fridge and every place. It's become ubiquitous, and I love the fact I'll go up against them any day of the week. I will compare my product to theirs. We entered the worldwide mustard competition in Middleton, Wisconsin, last year, and came away with more medals for our brand than any other brand. Out of almost 300 different entrants, we won 3 medals. And our quality is there. Our story, it's a Deli brand, and even our price. It's not the cheapest on the block, but you can't put ours in a squeeze bottle because it's so thick and creamy that you need to spread it with a knife. And it's not that mass-produced stuff. Guess who makes it? I make it. We do this ourselves. It's the way it goes. So it's really a pleasure. And I love seeing people try it and then become, as Kenny said, loyal to the brand.
Thank you for doing this. I want to leave you with 2 things. Two things I want to leave you with. One, try not to say Kenny is right too much.
Hey, once in a while.
And then the other one,
it is what it is.
The other one that's right akin with that is try not to say Kyle is great either, because then
No, you got to give those boys a little.
It remains to be seen. That's true.
Yes.
I absolutely stand by what I said. I'm excited to work with them, but whether or not they'll be successful remains to be seen.
Right now,
he's like,
massively
guys, like
I'm performance. We'll get the gears for this one too. It's all good. They're a good bunch of guys. They will help you a lot. But I do like where you started, and I like your positioning within the city. I think there's probably about 60 other butcheries and those type places that you should be in. You just need to get to them. And then
there's so many great retailers in Vancouver. There's so many
there's so many cool little spots in the city. Yeah. And honestly, mustard is one of those goofy categories that price is not the kicker. Like I really want a nice 100%. Mustard. I'm not going to go through a jar a day, so it doesn't matter to me if I spend $10 versus $3. I don't care.
Even in a doubtful economy, you may not go out for a $200 meal every other week like you used to. But spending an extra couple of bucks on a jar of mustard is one of those.
A good jar of mustard, but it makes the whole meal better. Are you kidding me? It's well worth every penny.
Thank you.
100%.
I've really enjoyed this, fellas. You're really a delight. Thank you so much.
I'm glad you came on. Like that was awesome.
We're really glad.
That was fantastic.
And then if you're listening to this will air. So Zane's going to be at the Fikov golf.
You want to try to get it before the tourney?
We'll get it out.
It would be great if it could.
So that way, people have a sense of who you are.
You should try to come in for one of the lunches.
Yeah. I absolutely will. And now that I'm working with those guys, and I know that Kurt was he was the president of the organization for a long time.
Yeah. Kyle was too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would something that I absolutely would want to get involved in.
Yeah, it's nice actually. You know what? It's only 5-6 times a year. We have a nice lunch. A cool retailer comes in,
and it's a great group.
story.
Like,
Then they're a good
you learn
group.
a lot every time you go. So yeah,
Plus, you
I
just
love
meet
it.
a lot of people, right? It's
Yeah.
just you know what the game's like. It's actually nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet people.
Yeah.
It's nice to have these extended friendships.
Yeah.
That's
It
good.
is. Unfortunately, on this, because of the World Cup, staying in Vancouver during that period of time is extraordinarily expensive.
Oh,
So
brutal.
we're literally going to be in and out in a day, and
That makes sense.
we're not having extended visit. But I will be back in Vancouver, and please, I mean, I'll talk to the guys about getting me on the list for when the lunches happen.
Yeah, the lunches
and
are no
people
problem. I
get
mean,
together.
that's easy peasy. And if you are in the city for a day or so, just ping me.
I'd
We'll
like
meet
that.
on the drive.
Be really fun.
Go for a
Awesome.
coffee. I don't leave
Thanks,
East Van, so you got to come to the hood. I don't like.
Which oh yeah, so you told me you live near Beefway.
I'm actually pretty close to Commercial Drive, about a 20-minute walk to the drive. So,
Oh, there's so many great coffee places in Vancouver.
yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, I
Thanks,
look forward to spending time. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
Awesome,
very much,
man.
Thank you
fellas.
so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And yeah, let me know when this is going to air, and
Yep.
I guess I'll follow you on Instagram and repost and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and then I'll shoot you a note just to let you know when it's coming out. So
sounds great.
Sounds cool.
awesome.
Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Have a great
Take
day.
care, my friend. Have a nice day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Oh, that's cool.
Fuck, are you kidding me? That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
So it's kind of cool. Like, so between Kaplansky's and then we had the shawarma guys on.
I know.
Before, and so like those two, yeah. When I was
You know
in
what the thing is?
school,
I
like
do
those two
remember going to
places, they
Kaplansky's.
fuel a lot of food for me right before.
Well, a lot of memories, right? It's just
Yeah.
it's all those things that. Yeah, I'm actually, to be honest, I'm going to stop by I'm going to hit Columbus this afternoon, I think. Maybe grab some sausages and grab a thing of mustard.
Yeah, listen, if it's not there, you'll have to, Kyle.
Come on, boys. Let's go. Pitter patter. It's been there for a week. What are we waiting for?
That's awesome. That's
awesome, man. Oh, and
right.
thank you guys for recommending this podcast to us.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
Who was that? Johnny
Good
or
job,
Kurt?
Kyle. Was it Kyle?
No, let's not give him Kyle credit. I don't think it was Kyle.
Oh, let's not give Kyle credit.
No
credit for Kyle. No.
All
right. Thanks
I
for
can't remember
listening.
where it came from. Might have been Kurt, but I can't remember. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody.